that we just waste our money. Like we got all this money that we're wasting, et cetera, et cetera. This was the line. I had to understand this reality. That's the thing that pushed me into a movement. And I'm not even going to go into much of the childhood and the things that I experienced and saw others experience. I want to appreciate Phil Gaza, SNCC. I want to appreciate SNCC. SNCC's been mentioned a few times, and I think people need to understand the significance of SNCC as a political formation in this country, because SNCC was the bridge between the anti-racist civil rights movement and the anti-colonial Black Power movement. It was SNCC that put forth the slogan, Black Power. You heard something about the origin of the paper from the Atlantic Project that happened, the Atlanta Project, but SNCC put that forward. And when they moved from civil rights and raised the question of power, whatever in the consciousness of the people who were grappling with that, they had entered the struggle of anti-colonialism. Because the colonized have to have power. In order to have power, you got to fight the colonizer and overturn that relationship. The only thing I've been doing for the last several years is pursuing what came out of SNCC, that understanding. That's what you see here. That's what you see, the work that we do. That's the connection with Africa that we have come from SNCC. And I just wanted to say that I think it's really important in terms of a historical moment and significance of that organization. Some people have heard of Stokely Carmichael and Kwame Ture and Willie Ricks and stuff like that. They were a part of a movement, and everybody in that movement did not agree. It's not like everybody was united in that movement, like everybody in this movement, everybody in this meeting, everybody in this right here today do not agree. But that's all right. What we do agree on is that there is an enemy out there, and that we can say that we are not the enemy, they are the enemy. We can say that. We can say that what they have attempted to impose on the people, and they've done it quite successfully for a long time, is the notion that there is no alternative. There is no alternative to Joe Biden, Kamala Harris. There's no alternative to them or Trump or anything like that. We said that's a lie. And so what has to happen is that this movement that's come together, it's an anti-colonial movement, anti-colonial free speech movement, anti-colonial human rights movement. And I'm saying this as somebody who's a communist. I'm, as Comrade Charles Barry knows, I'm a materialist. You understand? I'm a materialist. But saying I'm a materialist does not keep me from appreciation of what we've seen here today. Because African people came to Christianity for different reasons. African people came to Christianity because it was the religion of the oppressed. That's why there's go down, Moses, way down in Egypt land, tell Pharaoh, let my people go. You weren't hearing that in the white church. You were hearing that in the church of the oppressed. And that's the thing that brought us to this relationship with these wonderful people who bring the culture, African culture. We've had to learn how to even sing songs and express our feelings in ways that's not necessarily obvious to the oppressor. When Harriet Tubman come in the middle of the night to get the people, what she say? Steal away, steal away. And Africans understood exactly what that means. It's time to bounce. You understand? And so people got together and did exactly that. So that's our relationship. That's a different Christianity than what Trump is talking about. That's a different Christianity than what Biden is talking about. That's a religion that's facing resistance. That's the way we approach that. But I want to say I'm a materialist. And I had to come to some understanding about this reality we're affected with. And early on, what was clear to me is that white people just kept on messing with us in horrendous, horrible ways that it was hard to imagine. People could not even get ready for it in certain way in our community as much as it happened, because it was hard to imagine somebody doing this kind of stuff to other human beings. And so we couldn't get a grip on it easily. And so at one time in my own history, I appreciated the Nation of Islam. They said the white man is the devil. I wasn't religion, but that sounded all right to me. Just giving, if there had to be a devil, if there was a devil somewhere, that must be the damn devil. You understand? But that wasn't satisfactory for me. Captain Sam, that's your daddy, right? It sure is. Yeah, this sister's been around for a long time. Captain Sam was her daddy, a member of the Nation of Islam, been in this movement for years and years. But the fact is that we had to come to terms. Because even as we were saying the white man was the devil, then we had Duvalier in Haiti, who was killing Black people, oppressing Black people. And we had Mobutu in Congo, who worked for the CIA and overthrew and murdered Patrice Lumumba, cut him up in milk pieces and put him in that jail. We had all of those things too, so it's not enough. We had to come to a better understanding of what the hell was happening. So it came to us that we had to build a movement that recognized the depth of these contradictions. We had to get to the science of it. We were fighting all the time with white leftists who said that we didn't have the right to be able to struggle for national liberation because somehow if we did that, we were dividing the imaginary international working class or something to that effect. So we got to find out what's happening. So they made me read Marx. They forced me to read Lenin. They forced me to look at Trotsky and all the others who represented what was characterized as scientific revolution. And it was helpful. I read Marx. And having read Marx, I came to damn different conclusions about so much using the science that Marx provided. Because Marx told us, he said, you have to have an understanding of how capitalism came into existence. He said, in order for there to be capitalist production, there must be accumulation of capital. He said, but how do you get an accumulation of capital if there's no capitalist production? He said, the only way we can get out of this is to presuppose that there was an accumulation of capital that preceded the production, capitalist production. He said that accumulation of capital came about as a consequence of turning Africa into a warren for the commercial hunting of black skins. He said it came and tearing the indigenous people in this land into the mines, bringing up gold and silver and what have you for the Europeans. He said it had to do with the attack that was going on at what they call East India at the time. We're talking about the India in that particular area of South Asia. Hell, he just described a mode of production. That is a mode of production for the first time in history with the enslavement of African people, with the attack on Africa, the Portuguese. 600 years we've been fighting this struggle. 600 years ago, 1415, Portugal, little tiny, nasty Portugal, that looking at an appendix on the bottom of Europe, struck out. And then came to Africa, and began this whole process of capturing Black people and taught what became to be known as Europe how to make a quick buck. And so you saw for the first time in history the development of a world economy. There was no world economy before then. Right. The world economy was created through selling Black people and settling in all these places around the world. If you look at what is called the Americas today, you're looking at the consequence of the attack on Africa. That's what we are looking at. And so this is something that was real, but then understanding that the socialism that I want, the communism that I fight for, can only be acquired, and this is true of everybody, once you knock down this pedestal of colonialism upon which the whole social system rests. Right. He said, this is Karl Marx, for people who really believe in the significance of the working class. He said that wage slavery, and that's a real interesting way to characterize it. People got a job. He said wage slavery in Europe required as a pedestal slave-rid, pure, and simple in the New World. So even you're talking about even the working class having its significance based on the enslavement and colonization of Africans and other people around the world. I just wanted to say those things. I want to say Africa must be free. Yes. And they don't have enough flashbang grenades or anything to keep that struggle from happening. We're going to work to be free. We're going to build a united movement, a united anti-imperialist movement, a united anti-colonial movement. There are people in this audience now, people who are with us, who never would even be talking to each other if this was not happening. And we're talking to each other, and that's going to happen. We're going to recognize that we are the ones. We are the alternatives to the Democratic Party. We are the alternatives to the Republican Party. collective. We are the collective alternative, even though we may have differences among ourselves, and nobody's going to say anything about that because there are people out here now who we were told if you have something to do with those people, we're not going to have anything to do with you. So some of them actually left and disappeared, and we didn't miss them that much. But we collectively have to assume responsibility for being that alternative. And there's space here. There's space here for us to build a genuine anti-colonial opposition to this social system, to colonialism, etc. So I'm hoping that you will be here for the duration of that struggle. And I just want to say finally, I've said again that we're innocent of the charges that they made against us. And I think it's interesting what they've charged us with. They said that the overt acts, I think that's what they call them, that supposedly constitute the crime, is that I went to Moscow in 2015 twice. I was invited to Moscow by an NGO, non-governmental organization. So that's a fact. But they've used facts to obscure the truth. I went to Moscow in 2015 at the invitation of a non-governmental organization, like I went to Spain in 2017 at the invitation of a non-governmental organization. International meeting there, dealing with the question of what they call the contradiction between the Africa and the North. North, of course, being Europe and what have you. So factually, I went there. They said that we Russian agents are employed by the Russians because we came out in opposition to this war that's being made against Russia, using Ukraine as the vehicle and the victims at the same time. So that makes us Russian agents. They said because the Russians have that position and we have that position, therefore we must be servants of Russia. But the fact is, if they look at our history, it's clear to see that our position has been that opposing any of these invasions, these attacks that the United States has been making historically. And 2 days before the incursion by Russia into Ukraine, I came out telling people that this was going to happen, that this is why it was going to happen. The Russians didn't tell us, we told them. We told them, look out, it's coming. You understand? They didn't tell us. And I'm being told that I wish they'd just say something, but they'd stand up and hint very loudly. I want to say, comrades, that it's farce what they have said, and that we have to tell this story. And they would use this case to negate the ability of African people to make criticism about our conditions. They say the Russians hired us to sow dissension. The existence of the NAACP suggests some kind of dissension already here. You can't, the fact is that, so that's what they said, that we were brought here to, we were hired by the Russians to sow dissension. We've been sowing dissension for 50, 60 years. You can go back to our documents, you see that we were condemning genocide. We were calling for reparations. We were opposed to the wars. We were and demanding the right to have relationships with Africans and people all around the world, going back more than 70 years. You go back, you'll see that we have a tactics and strategy. I don't know if there's another one that has been developed for the Black liberation movement. And those tactics and strategies have informed our practice for the last, since at least 1979. So, the fact is that it is ridiculous for them to make these charges, but they have to make these charges. Otherwise, they have to admit that they're attacking us for talk, for speech. And to admit they're attacking us for talk and speech is something that undermines their whole system and their whole process. So they say, we're not attacking you because you're talking, we're attacking you because Russia told you to talk, which is a ridiculous kind of thing. So we're going to win this. We have winning, and we have won just by being here. They had hope. They attacked us. And it was 9 months after they attacked us that they finally indicted us. And they had hope in that 9 month period without indictment that would either run, that we would come in on our bellies, and take some kind of plea bargain that would have required us to commit perjury to say that we did something in order to get a deal from them. But that's not going to happen. We are not going to sacrifice the political space that Black people fought and died for in this country. They're gonna have we taking that space, we keeping that space. And I am not going to be some example for Black people on his belly, crawling and kissing the ass of the ruling class in order to get some kind of deal for myself.
We got to move this forward. I want to say first that we have the motion for dismissal as well as the amicus brief from the National Lawyers Guild for $2 at that table in the back. And if you want to hear more, Chairman, I wish we had more time. Come to the Sunday rallies, go to the table, buy those books, get the pamphlets, read more of what the chairman has to say. There's even a book of his speeches available. Really incredible. So next we're going to have John McCarthy come up. This is he's from the Center for Political Innovation in Chicago. So let's give a hand to John McCarthy. Uhuru.
Yeah, right. That's right.
Okay, CPI is honored to be here because we understand how important this case is. What's at stake is not just a life sentence for Chairman O'Malley. What's at stake is a death sentence for humanity. Because imperialism has pushed us to the brink of a world-ending nuclear war between the United States and Russia. And what these demons are saying with this prosecution is that it's illegal to organize to try to stop that war. And it's illegal to even talk about it. That's right. Go ahead. And we got to talk about it. We got to organize against it because it's a threat to everybody. We're not here defending Chairman O'Malley. He's defending us, our children, everyone we've ever met, and anyone we ever will meet from a world-ending war, from imperialism, colonialism, and the final war that they're leading us to. So we have to do everything we can to help him win that fight. We got to do it like our life depends on it, because it does.
There's not really much that I can add, but I just want to turn around and say, look what Chairman O'Malley built. Look what Chairman O'Malley built. Look what Chairman O'Malley built. Chairman O'Malley is not a hashtag revolutionary. He's a cement and bricks revolutionary. He is a builder, and he constructs and he lifts people up. And we look on him with absolute admiration for what he has done and what he has accomplished and why they are targeting him. Yeah, that's right. And I must say, if you look at what they're doing, this is a test case. They have already raided the home of Scott Ritter. They just recently targeted Danny Shaw, the journalist, at the airport when he was coming back to the United States. And they have gone as far as to prosecute Sue Mi Terry, the top Korea scholar, a longtime shill, just because South Korea won't go along with the provocations against North Korea that the United States is demanding. There is all kinds of abuse and efforts to impose and utilize the Foreign Agents Registration Act in the works. There have been calls to prosecute organizations that march for Palestine under the Foreign Agents Registration Act. And this is a test case. And that is why standing up and taking this to trial and saying that you will not surrender is so important. It's really important. And we should all look in absolute admiration to Chairman O'Malley, to the Uhuru Three, and all that they are doing. And I must say that Chairman O'Malley is a builder. And that's why he has been targeted, is because he has built and he has constructed. And if you look at what their system is doing, monopolistic capitalism is in a wrecking, destructive period. But we are builders. We are people of the land. We are fighting back. We are resisting. We resist their global system based on fake wealth and usury and global domination of world markets. And we stand for building and construction and popular power. Thank you very much.
Well, brothers and sisters, I want you to give it. Stand up, my leader on the stage here. A big man clap for the MC work that she's done. I was just following her lead. And we thank you so much for that. And as we close out our hair, we want to end it with a tape that we got from Dr. Cornel West and his vice presidential candidate, Melina Abdullah. So we want to play that tape before we leave. And as we say, we have alternatives. Some have other ways they want to go. This is the way we're going. We're going to see to it that a candidate who supported 1,000% a 19-point program of the Black is Back coalition was Dr. Cornel West. And his agenda too is 100% agreeing with the stuff that we agree with, anti-imperialism, anti-capitalism. And as the chairman said, some people may have differences about things, but that's where I'm going. That's where some people are going. Some are going other way. But we're not going with no lesser of two evils. We're not going with either party. Both parties are supporting the assassination of Black leaders. Both parties are denying free speech of our leaders. Both parties are concert and development of the genocide of Palestinian people. Both parties support the military bases, AFRICOM and Africa. So we have to support those groups who are not supporting that. So we're going to hear a tape from Dr. Cornel West.
Yes, and then afterwards, we'll have Comrade Life Malcolm and Dr. Aisha Fields, who will be your host for the second part of the segment. Uhuru, everybody.
This is my message to my brothers and sisters struggling for the magnificent and marvelous Uhuru Three, who loved us enough, who continue to serve and sacrifice for us, such that we shall forever be fortified in our struggle for freedom. Remind you, Brother O'Malley, blessed to hear your voice. You know, as a Christian, I'm praying for you, but brother, as a love-warrior and freedom fighter, we are in it together, even as you have been so much in the vanguard. Well, I stand with you, I fight with you, and stay strong. God bless you.
Uhuru! Uhuru! Hey, yo, put your hands in. Hey, start clapping. If you ain't clapping, you hating. If you ain't clapping, you hating. And hating don't look good on you. I'm talking about your section right there. If you're not clapping, you hating. And hating don't look good on you. Unless you hate colonialism. If you hate colonialism, say free the Uhuru Three. If you hate capitalism, say free the Uhuru Three. If you hate what they did in 2022 when they attacked our chairman in St. Louis and St. Petersburg, say free the Uhuru Three. Now that we have your attention, I'd like to say I'm so happy to be here with you, comrades. Where else would we rather be? I don't care how hot it is. It's gonna be hot all the time. We can't just do the revolution in December, right? This is freedom summer right now. We in the thick of it. So glad to be here with you. So glad to be here with my co-host, my co-MC, Dr. Aisha Fields. So clap it up.
Listen, we're so excited to be able to MC the second half of the program. I want to give it up for Comrade Charles Barron and our beautiful sister Jennifer Lumumba. for holding us down the first half and doing an incredible job. We're gonna try to keep it moving, okay? So we're gonna start this next program. I'm gonna let Brother Light introduce our cultural performance.
I just had this opportunity to meet this incredible young brother. Looks like a dynamic man. Y'all get ready to show him the same love and energy he's gonna show y'all. Put y'all hands together right now. If you ain't clapping, your hand. Wait a minute, you dead. Put your hands together. I ain't saying. Uhuru. My name is Isaiah the Prophet. I am from Safety Harbor, but I had the honor to come out here through DJ Eddie. Shout outs to him. Shout outs to Black Power 96 FM. And I'm so honored to be here today. Uhuru. This first song is called Diatribe. Beginning. Major world governments are performing all magic on its spiritual warfare, not war against different squabbling factions. The country shaking hands, negotiating land, pouring the plans, going against each other to these hands. The magic is the manifestation of willpower. Mind showing flow within, happen out our program. Your conscious mind to resonate and to respond, and certain stimuli. Is that why your food is genetically modified? Because DNA can't be optimized. Is that why we're saying slow eye? They calcify the third eye. So we won't flourish. I'm malnourished because Goldilocks is always in my porch. Funny how the words lead me, bereave me, swapping and describing the world that is only to myself and self and you define mine. If you don't understand the man of the mind, my gift was a magic wand. I'm grown front of the esoterics and bearers of the reactionary. I'm the lit active affair, staring with no merit. I'm the rarest, rounds the rejected I cherish. Along with your wisdom, I ain't here to cherish. Erratic careless, I hope you perish. You ain't no song writing for lyrics. I gave you life, just the brain base to awareness. When it comes to art around me, you can say I'm overselling. And I was stopping so I can make my idols jealous. The literate lyrics underdeveloped, my words are embellished. Compared to the current condition of hip hop, I'm rebellious. I sprung up from the crevices, left my messages whenever he expressed it. Horsepower of hanging, ship on Edgar Allen. Yes, I was told. Before the ayahuasca, I will never falter. Shed I lit my chocolate, trying to escape the cycle of their song. The shade of karma, and karma, and they mentally disarmed them, arguing with bullshit. I remember my pastor's words from the pulpit. So I say I'm not human. He hates annihilation through inoculation. They want to lower the population through sterilization. I prayed for a safe haven. My power spreads through observation of imagination. Had a revelation creation. It's the highest form of worship. When knowledge emerges, there's always an current I can determine. They can justify me in a surgeon of verse commercials. Messages were urgent, things that worsen in this version of reality was going on. Stephen Hawking told me not to fuck with the head, goes on, both so commercial, so spiritual, so pop playing the ozone, ego, pathos, logos, all they care about are logos, for the logos, I propose and take a pose. I suppose, meaning you can't even shake hands, much less rub emerald, like the lotus flower, while meditating in the meadows. Diatribe. How we feeling? The second song is called Conscious Records. Yeah. I'm a prophet with the logic, no stopping the apocalypse, fundamentals, monumental in my temple, it's a loss of yet. Hearing the lyrics of living, not the physical, instrumentals, get essential with confusion and provision. Rapping battle, I am round this track of battle with my rap, like instrumental, gentle, that's a half life, stone cold, gold, wrestle baby, soul, microphones, I overdose, original, they trying to hold my soul, but my morals ain't for sale. No, I'm in my Sierra Leone, shine alone, I'm well, no cities buzzing, now we love the potential, show me overgrown, they owe so they can't hold it. Progress when they can't profit. Lands alone if I'm flawless. Chaos talk, this can't get attention. If I'm spirit, I'm
here is beyond who can save your client. Then no man is bacon candy. You got it. I'm the giant. Rappers talk. I walk the walk. I'm never silent. The second for the client. Self-reliant. I'm the defiant. And the art of a lot of until I'm immortalized. It's the lies of lies on the sky. I'm the prize. In the bottom lies. Revolutionize. No compromise. Walk with the minds of time. I'm the God. Choose crystallized from lies on the skies. I'm the prize. Walk community lines with sight for fleekery. I'm the guy. Granny shells, self-absorbed, reforms the norm. Myself is sure. Mention self, I'll step in more. My skills are pure. Ain't sure. Yeah, you self-reviewing, self-improving, rebelling, hurt. Lesson 2 stage, through personal views. I hold the rule. My habits to vanity. Listen, it hurts me what I'm fixing. Insanity is the strength in your floor. Shit, judge fiction. Starving artist, public market, media part that's not California cases, reiterations, criminal side and copy. Tidal ways I raise, they constantly population state, erasures, generations, damnations. What I say, armor and highest and patience and dreams and mental and children letting go for the day. So that's why they try to hide and stigmatize the kids are traumatized. Even they about homicide 4 or 5, whether the silver line, to you on lines, resign lines, production's line. I'm in my prime, starting 5 by 5. My name is Isaiah the Prophet. My music is available on SoundCloud at I$IAH the Prophet, PROPHET. I appreciate y'all. I love every single one of y'all. Thank you. Uhuru.
Isaiah the Prophet, y'all clap it up one more time for Isaiah. Right now, comrades, it's time to hear from a tremendous sister who's been a soldier in the African People's Socialist Party, the Uhuru movement for quite some time. Probably since the womb, right? I mean, she's been around a very long time. You might know that she ran in 2019 for District 7. She ran again. We don't run from them. We don't run for them. We run for us. Ran again, even in the face of all this nonsense. This tremendous sister, the director of agitprop. She's responsible for much of the political propaganda that you see, including the Burning Spear newspaper. Put your hands together right now for the dynamic and very incredible powerful sister Akile Anaye.
Thank you so much. It's a profound honor to be here today. As mentioned, my name is Akile Anaye. I'm the Director of Media and Communications for the African People's Socialist Party, the Uhuru movement, and one of the original 4 unindicted co-conspirators. And because they said I ran for office under the direction of Russia. And as Chairman points out, I ran in St. Petersburg, Florida, and the only thing Russian about that election was the fact that I live and ran in St. Petersburg, which is a Russian name. But other than that, this was a strategy determined by Chairman Electoral, the leadership of the Uhuru movement, and born out of struggles like Freedom Summer of 1964 that Africans were engaged in right here in this country for the right to vote. And one thing I want to say is that I'm also an Uhuru baby. You heard the beautiful Jane Lumumba here today. That's my cousin. And I'm also an honorary grandchild of Chairman Electoral. I claim that. And I'm also an Uhuru baby. And so much so that I was born 2 days before the murder of 18-year-old Tyron Lewis in 1996. October 24th, 1996, they killed 18-year-old Tyron Lewis just a couple blocks from here. The St. Pete police did. I was born 2 days before that. And when they murdered Tyron Lewis, this community rose up and fought back in fierce rebellion, and the Uhuru movement provided political leadership to be able to say and to sum up, who is the police? What is their function inside of our community? Because we know we have this relationship, but let's deepen our understanding of this relationship. Let's explain why the police function in our community the way they do. Why we exist right in the South Side Black community in the most impoverished, humiliating conditions, where we look at just a few blocks down, there's a flourishing white downtown community. How did that come to be? And why the police occupy every corner in our community? community. So that's what the Uhuru movement was doing, had been doing before they murdered Tyron Lewis, and continued to do so. Our people were politically informed about who the enemy was inside our community when they murdered Tyron Lewis. And just a short time later, on November 13th of 1996, because the attack on the Uhuru movement didn't just start on July 29th of 2022. And the attacks on Chairman Electoral to shut him up, to put him in prison, to assassinate him did not start on July 29th of 2022. They made a military assault right here on this building on November 13th, 1996. And I was probably just getting out of the hospital shortly after that time. And I have to salute my dad, who's out here too, who brought me to this movement, who raised me in this movement, who was also on the front lines fighting when 300 armed police forces from neighboring counties, different types of police, including Highway Patrol, National Guard, were descended on this building, 300 people to come to a meeting that we always regularly carried out, a political education meeting. We have Sunday rallies now, but they were held on Wednesdays at this time. And we were having a community meeting to sum up this not guilty verdict of the 2 white cops that killed Tyron Lewis. We were engaged in the same kind of activity we're doing right now, free speech activity, to be able to talk about our conditions, to sum up our conditions, and to say what the way forward was going to be. And the police, 300 strong, came and attacked this building. The city of St. Pete used every ounce of tear gas they had on this building. Well, just because we were engaged in a meeting, public assembly, to be able to talk, to just be able to talk, they attacked this building militarily, but they did not win. And Chairman Electoral lives today because of the struggle the people were engaged in right here, pushing back 300 military forces. They were under so much fire, under so much heat. They had to say, pull back the troops. We are under heavy fire. That's what they said then, and that's what we're going to make them say in the courtroom starting September 3rd. Pull the troops back. We are under heavy fire. That's what we're giving them. So I just really want to salute my leadership. Chairman Electoral, it is an absolute insult. These charges on the intelligence, on the agency, and on the will of African and colonized people who just want to be free, who just want to be self-determining, who just want to be able to produce and reproduce life for ourselves after doing it for 600 years for somebody else. So that's what we're fighting for. We will win. We have won, as been expressed today. But we're comrades, and we're going to win it in the court.
Thank you so much, Comrade Director Okele and Naidi. Thank you so much. At this point in time, gonna call up the doctor. He's gonna let you know what's coming up next.
All right, Uhuru. Before I introduce the next 2 speakers who we're going to hear about reporting, I want to encourage everybody to see the vendors. Spend some time and some resources with these vendors. I didn't get the chicken, but my kids did, and they said it was so delicious. They want to go back in my wallet and get some more. So let's get some chicken from the chicken vendors. They got boiled peanuts. They got everything you want. Then we got the best, what is that, Italian ice over there? Cold, it's hot. Let's go. Let's spend some money with these people over here. These young people and these brilliant people out here sharing their talents with us. We got the vegan burgers over here. I didn't have a vegan burger, but I saw somebody have one.
Let me just jump in on that right there on the vegan burger tip. Like, hey, get the vegan burger, but I'm gonna tell you, when they say spicy, they mean spicy. So if you playing with spicy, don't get spicy, because it's spicy for real. All right, yeah, but it's good. It's good.
All right, that's what's up. All right, so now I just want to go ahead and I want to introduce our next 2 speakers. The next speaker is going to be Comrade Lisa Davis, a very dynamic Lisa Davis, the Vice Chair of the Black is Back Coalition for Justice, Peace, and Reparation. And then we're going to hear from the U.S. presidential campaign in form of Jill Stein, the Green Party president, okay? We're going to hear from her via recording after we hear Comrade Lisa Davis.
of the Black is Back Coalition for Social Justice, Peace, and Reparations, which has international reach and consists of over 113 organizational and individual members nationwide, I want to emphasize that we stand 100% behind our chairman, Omali Yeshitela, the co-founder of this coalition, the founder of the African People's Socialist Party, and the leader of the Uhuru movement. We also stand behind our comrades, Penny Hess and Jesse Neville, who are members of the Uhuru Solidarity Movement, who work under the leadership of our chairman. One of the foremost initiatives of this coalition is our Electoral Campaign School, which is the brainchild of our chairman. Of course, this coalition enthusiastically united around the idea and went to work to make it happen. Our Electoral Campaign School was established to inject the revolutionary politics of Black liberation into U.S. elections, to cultivate revolutionary candidates to run for office, and to teach our people how to remove elected officials from office who go against the interests of our people. Toward this end, we established the 19-point platform for Black self-determination. A partial list of these 19 demands include elevating the Black family, freeing all political prisoners, full reparations, and building an anti-colonial, anti-imperialist movement which called on the U.S. to get out of Africa, Asia, and Latin America. During the first year in which the school was launched in 2017, Jesse Neville ran for mayor of St. Petersburg, Florida, becoming the first white candidate to ever run on a platform of reparations for the Black community. And while he did not win, the campaign was very effective in that it went viral and made international news. It was only afterwards that Marianne Williamson made reparations a part of her presidential campaign. The work of this Electoral Campaign School is critical to understanding one of the reasons that the U.S. government escalated its continuous assault on the Black liberation struggle by going after our chairman and the Uhuru movement. The DOJ has repeatedly accused him of interfering with elections, and the diabolical nature of this assault is really underscored when one considers the following: that the Biden-Harris DOJ closed the case on the Carolyn Bryant in 2021, the one responsible for Emmett Till's murder, stating that they couldn't find proof to prosecute her. And also, when one considers that the majority of mass shooters have violent online presences, published manifestos, and Nazi and Klan associations, in 2022, there were 3 mass shootings before the attack on the Electoral 3. They were the Buffalo shooting, the July 4th shooting, and the Uvalde shooting. All the shooters had violent online presences, but yet it is the Uhuru movement, those fighting for Black liberation and to end U.S. wars and imperialism, that the United States considers the problem and is doing everything in its power to stop. In closing, I just want to say that I'm so proud of the work of the Black is Back Coalition, the Uhuru movement, and the leadership of Omali Yeshitela. We fearlessly stand with the Uhuru 3, and we are only growing stronger. Uhuru!
So I want to give a big shout out to the Uhuru 3, and especially to Chairman Omali Yeshitela for his incredibly courageous work. It is so outrageous that they are being targeted as basically advocates of people power and people who are helping to uplift justice and equality and sustainability and an end to colonialism and an end to empire and all the right things. And they're facing this absolutely concocted, ridiculous case that just should be thrown out of court. It's outrageous that taxpayer money is being used to basically shut down political challenge here. So, I encourage anybody who can get to Florida to support the Uhuru 3 to please come out and show your support and power the people, and let's keep it up, because this is about all of us having freedom of speech, the freedom of political association, and the freedom to protest. Our freedoms are all under assault right now, and what is happening to Chairman Omali Yeshitela right now is it's really a symbol of the assault against our basic democratic rights right now. So we need to stand up for each other and for him in particular in this very difficult moment.
Yo, check this out. Let's try something right quick. Black fist in the air, let me know you out there. Black power ain't going nowhere. Black fist in the air, let me know you out there. Black power ain't going nowhere. Black fist in the air, let me know you out there. Black power ain't going nowhere. Black fist in the air, let me know you out there. All right. I really appreciate those comrades we heard on the recording. And we want to call Brother Jabbar Edmond. Brother Jabbar, are you here, brother? Jabbar Edmond, going once, going twice, gone. All right, Joe Elsbacher. Are you here, brother? Did I say that right, brother? That's me, that's fine. All right, did I say it right? Close enough. All right, good, close enough. All right, listen. Joe is a Freedom Road Socialist. It's from the Freedom Road Socialist organization, and the organization to stop FBI repression. Joe was one of 23 activists raided by the FBI in 2010 and compelled to testify before the federal grand jury. He's based in Minnesota, and you're about to hear more from him right now. Thank you for your solidarity, comrade. Uhuru.
All right, thank you, comrades. Thank you. I really
Hands off Uhuru. Say it like you mean it. Hands off Uhuru. Hands off Uhuru. But like the comrade said, I'm speaking today on behalf of the Committee to Stop FBI Repression. In September of 2010, 25 FBI agents raided my house and the homes of a dozen other comrades who were anti-war and international solidarity activists, including Hatem Abu Deya, the leader of one of the most prominent Palestinian liberation organizations in the country, the United States Palestinian Community Network. And for the next 7 years of our life, that's what we did. We fought to defeat that witch hunt. And I am here to say that I believe the Uhuru 3 will win. Say it with me. I believe that we will win. I believe that we will win. Say it. I believe that we will win. I believe that we will win. I believe that we will win. So, and we've got to do this because this is coming down not just on your organization and our organization, but if they can put the African People's Socialist Party, if they can put you in prison for international solidarity work, they will not stop. And everybody in this movement needs to take this very, very seriously. So the organizations they were targeting when they raided us, the U.S. Palestinian Community Network, the Freedom Road Socialist Organization that I'm a member of. I just want to tell you something. Last week, our two organizations were at the front of marches of 30,000 people marching on the Democratic National Convention. So their little attack on us, they failed. We're still in the streets. We're still organizing. And we marched on the Democrats to say, not another nickel, not another dime, no more bombing Palestine. Say it with me. Not another nickel, not another dime. Not another nickel, not another dime. I also want to speak from my other hat. I'm the Labor Committee co-chair of the Chicago Alliance Against Racist and Political Repression. And our executive director, Frank Chapman of the National Alliance Against Racist and Political Repression, told me to deliver greetings of solidarity for the Uhuru 3 and especially for Comrade Omali Yeshitela. Greetings from Frank Chapman. I had to bring that as well. So I know it's hot, so I'm just going to wrap this up by saying again, all of us have to defend the Uhuru 3 movement
and the African People's Socialist Party. Hands off Uhuru.
Thank you.
Joe, thank you so much for those words and your solidarity. This point in time, our program calls for Chrisley Carpio, Students for a Democratic Society. Appreciate you here. Yes, y'all put your hands together for Chrisley as she comes to the stage. Students for a Democratic Society. She's based in Tampa and was one of the Tampa Five who law enforcement jammed up. I think it was on University of South Florida's campus, right? Yep. One of the Tampa Five. Y'all put your hands together for this heroic comrade.
Thanks so much, everybody, and thanks for fighting for the right to protest and for freedom of speech and for the Uhuru 3 to walk free. So my name is Chrisley Carpio. I'm with Students for a Democratic Society. It's a multi-issue student progressive organization that, to put it quite frankly, is trying to fight for justice. It's trying to fight for a world that's better. And a few years ago, Governor Ron DeSantis, before his presidential campaign was so unpopular that it failed, so a little bit before that, got it in his head that he thought he could ban an intersection of race, oppression, sexuality, women's issues, all the things that we're discussing here from classrooms where children are being taught. People coming of age, turning into adults, are being taught. He thought that he could ban that and nobody would say or do anything. They would be so scared. But there were students who organized a protest on March 6th and said that that was wrong. We had the right to protest. We had the right to say something. Even though I was a campus worker and not taking classes, I worked there. I spent all day making USF take all the money from the students so they want to get an education. We thought that we had the right to go into the administration building and have a protest and say increase block enrollment, stop the ban, the university needs to say something against Governor Ron DeSantis. We demanded a meeting with the university president, Rhea Law, or as the students called her, Rhea Lawless or Rhea Jim Crow Law, the students came up with. And instead of a meeting, we were met with the police. They grabbed people, they subdued people with headlocks, they threw them against the wall, threw them on the ground, hit them in the head with batons. We had banners. We had signs that had rainbow flags on them. We had signs that said things like increase block enrollment. But when they saw us, they took out their weapons, they bashed people in the head, and then they hit us with felony charges in the hopes that students wouldn't say no again, that students would just take the gutting of their schools, would take the silencing of Black education, Black voices in the schools, and take it without a fight. But we said no. It took a year to get the charges dropped. It took organizations like Uhuru and all the other organizations that came out to our conference and came out to our project, and we got dropped. 10 years in prison, depending on the person of the 5 protesters arrested that day or a month later, and we got the charges dropped. But it was a harrowing experience when the Uhuru 3 had the bravery to do the right thing. We were in a time of fear and uncertainty, and the U.S. was drumming up support for a war. They made a choice one day to say that war is wrong. The U.S. should not be used to have the people of Ukraine go to war and the people of Russia. It shouldn't be used to neglect the people in the U.S. and to just kill more people abroad. It shouldn't be used for a genocide. They came out and said those things were wrong, and now they're under attack for using the right to free speech, for doing the same thing that we had done that day. They're not guilty of anything except thinking that they had a right to say something about the country that they live in. But the fact of the matter is, they were faced with a choice, like people said, do we give in and take a plea and admit to guilt of crimes that we didn't commit? Or do we stand up and fight? Do we say, hell no, I'm not selling my soul. I'm not silencing my voice. What choice will we make? And it's heroic what they said that day. We're going to fight. And, there are worse things than going to prison. It's daunting. It's horrible to go to prison. But it's much worse to lose your soul. It's much worse to sell out the people who love you, the people who will come out to this conference. And just as they stood with the Tampa that day, as they stand with the Uhuru 3, and we say, hands off Uhuru, hands off Africa, protect our right to free speech. An attack on them is an attack on the whole movement who says no to war, and this is the right thing to do, and we will see you at the courts. Thank you for having me.
Uhuru, thank you so much for that incredible presentation. I just want to say that everybody who's here today, we need to see you here tomorrow at 4 p.m. inside the Uhuru House, where we're going to have our regular Uhuru Sunday rally. This Sunday rally is going to be really important because it's the last Sunday rally before the trial begins on September the 3rd. So not only are we going to hear some incredible presentations, but we're going to have some understanding about what to expect in court, the kind of things that we should be prepared to do and not do. So it's going to be really, really important that we get those updates. So please, who's going to be here tomorrow at 4 p.m.? Let me hear from you. Yes. All right, 4 p.m. right inside. Okay, we'll have AC for y'all, okay? All right.
Thank you so much, Comrade Doctor. At this point, we want to bring up Joseph Nohaba from the Tampa Alliance Against Racism and Political Repression. Are you here? Are you here, Joseph? Come on up. And look, I want to put in the speaker's booth Erica Williamson, because we want people to get every minute that they can get out of you. So just stand in the speaker's booth for us, and Gideon Ortiz, stand in the speaker's booth, just right to my left, your stage right. And right now, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Joseph Nohaba.
Hi. Thank you, Dr. Fields. Thank you, Wife Malcolm. My name is Joseph Nohaba on behalf of the Tampa Alliance Against Racism and Political Repression. We stand in complete solidarity with the Uhuru movement and the African People's Socialist Party and the three members currently facing bogus and outrageous charges, Chairman Omali Yeshitela, Penny Hess, and Jesse Nutter. We understand that these charges are the latest in a long and brutal history of political repression waged by the U.S. government against the people's movements. From the days of the first slave revolts in what would be the United States, those who have fought for a better world for the masses and oppressed people have been made and seen as enemies of the U.S. government. And from that moment, in 1966, when Chairman Yeshitela, then known as Joe Waller, ripped down that racist mural in St. Petersburg City Hall, it was clear what side of history he would be on. The side fighting for progress, fighting for the rights of oppressed people against the repression and tyranny of the U.S. government. We know how important it is to fight for democratic rights to protest, for our free speech rights, in the U.S. generally and here in Florida specifically, where Ron DeSantis, loser governor, has attacked DEI, Black education, Black political rights, and Black lives. Every day, these attacks have played out to try and stifle the Black liberation movement. And at the front line of this war against the Black liberation movement are the pigs in uniform, whether they call themselves the FBI, TPD, HCSO, or St. Pete Police. Whether they come during the early morning with flashbang grenades, during the day to tear gas and beat student protesters, or at night to assault a man sitting in his family's driveway. These cops are the frontline soldiers on a war against free speech, democratic rights, and Black lives. But we're here to say we're going to fight back. We're going to stand with the Uhuru Three, right? Just as we stood with the Tampa Five. Just as we stood with a local man, Antoine Glover, who was viciously and brutally rearrested last night. Shame! Just as we stand with the USF-13 and all other victims of local police and political repression. Because these rights, the right to protest, the right to free speech, cannot be taken for granted. They cannot be taken as a given. They have to be fought for. We echo the demand of the government to drop these outrageous, bogus charges and an end to the harassment, investigations, and threats against our movement. Victory to the Uhuru Three! Hands off the Uhuru Three! Hands off the Uhuru Three! Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, comrade. Thank you so much. We appreciate that solidarity and all of the instances that you just mentioned. Next to the stage, I asked her, how should I announce you? And she simply and humbly told me, let them know that I helped run it. Put your hands together right now for Erica Williamson from the Partisan Defense Committee. Clap it up now. Y'all know the drill. We ain't clapping, you hating. And hating don't look good on you.
Yeah. So, greetings, comrades. I'm Erica with the Partisan Defense Committee, and we're the legal social defense group for the Spartacus League US. And, just so you know, we fight, we're revolutionary Marxists, internationalists. And we fight for revolutionary integrated class struggle and for labor Black power to rule America. And we are honored to be here today. We traveled from New York to attend the trial and to stand in solidarity and defense of the Uhuru Three, who have been targeted for speaking out against the degradations of U.S. imperialism and specifically for its war on Black people here in the belly of the beast. This racist witch hunt is a dangerous threat to all of us, to the labor movement, to us socialists, and anyone who opposes U.S. imperialism. No matter what our differences are, and that you may have with us too, we must stand together as one to stop this attack against Uhuru and the attempts to suppress us all. Last year, we initiated a campaign to rebuild the movement against police brutality and against state terror on a basis that will make it stronger and expose all of the fake politicians who have helped keep the movement down. And I encourage you to talk to us about that later. In order to move the movement forward, we must rid ourselves of alliances with progressive politicians and police reform schemes like BLM push. We don't need more Black cops running our communities into the grave and arresting our kids. We need to rely on our own independent and working class forces. As a basic measure of self-defense, we want to expose the heinous crimes of the state, other cover-ups, and frame-ups, just like the frame-up being perpetuated right now to the Uhuru Three, like they did to Mumia and Leonard Peltier. We must continue to fight to free them now and to keep the Uhuru Three free. There must not be any illusions that we can convince this racist ruling class to be kinder and gentler to us. There has been a war on Black America for centuries. We don't need a kinder, gentler, more green imperialist master. We need to bring the imperialist master down to his knees. Any politicians that say, will get up here and say that they stand for peace, freedom, ending genocide and war, but it's not fighting to smash U.S. imperialism and for class independence, it's just pulling the wool over your eyes. Come November, whether it's Harris or Trump, it will be bad news for all of us. What's needed is a fight to end capitalism, because that is and right now, in November, we're calling for a vote to PSL, because we think that's the only group who's saying that we're gonna end capitalism. So we need to fight to put the working class and all those exploited by these racist butchers in a better place to fight back against them. Hands off the Uhuru Three, down with U.S. imperialism, open all police archives, things.
Thank you, Uhuru. All right. So we're wrapping up the program. We're almost at the end, but we've got a few more speakers, and we have an opportunity for there to be folks from the audience to give a 1-minute presentation, like room for 10 people. So think about if you might want to say something in the program in just a moment to give your solidarity. But I would like to just draw your attention to the hands off Uhuru 10 here. If you're in St. Pete, or you can get to St. Pete because you need a way to the courthouse in Tampa, you can go there to sign up to be able to take the bus that's going to the court every day, okay? So come to the Hands Off Uhuru, Hands Off Africa tent to get more information or to sign up to get on that bus, all right? So very important to make sure that we do that.
Thank you so much, Comrade. At this point, we want to bring up Gideon Ortiz. Gideon, are you here? Gideon Ortiz. Going once, going twice, and gone. Yeah, I had an opportunity to have a brief interaction with this young man. Get ready for some culture. He tread the truth, a world genre hip hop underground artist. I don't know why he cover all that. He above ground, around the world, and all of that. Y'all put your hands together. I'm looking forward to this magnificent performance. Start clapping. If you ain't clapping, you're hating. Hating don't look good on you.
All right, Uhuru.
All right. How y'all feeling so far? All right, I don't remember much to say, but I'm ready just to give off my music. And this is all about uplifting. And this is just amazing opportunity just to come out here to meet beautiful people out here. And yeah, so if y'all ready, let me say, all right, let me just mix that up again. If y'all ready, let me hear you say, Uhuru. Okay, let's get it. So the first song here is called Black Houston. Music. Right, something called the yes.
What's the name of that spot? Like you.
Excuse my movements. Hey. Some he walking on the field, looking crazy like he is Bill. I'll be a teenager, that's a whole big deal. And that's a hard refill. Walking the place, I got the eyes on me. Walking the place, I got the ears on me. Walking the place, I got the eyes on me. Looking at who I know real king. Ain't walking the place, I got the eyes on me. Walking the place, I got the ears on me. Walking the place, I got the eyes on me. Looking at who I know real king. I go by keeps the truth and KT, or shall I say KEY, and that's the key. Man, on the bitch, I still stand as an undefeated. Best believe it, I will see it. Clint Road, all the natural lands, onto the gods, cause we can tell what we are and what we are. Feeling my energy, like I feel my intuition downloading. Let me grab my tea, cause it's something about my business, cause I got a mission, just to finish. Got a mission, just to finish. Got a message to deliver. Gonna step, gonna receive it. I'm just working, best believe it, yeah. Thought I was done. I'm just up every day like the rising sun. Teach my people like the class of comprehension. Society programming people just a messing people out of realities and then a lot of distraction. Keep going, running our eyes to see. It's so sad to see. I'm up just seeing zombies and seeing zombies and distraction with these electronics trying to take over, try to destroy your brain, try to blind your sight, try to blind your mind. That ain't right, right, man, that ain't right, right, man, that ain't right, right, man, that ain't right, no. Now you cloud. All right.
Yes, sir.
This is probably why.
I am.
Yeah, we get some coffee. Uhuru! One more time. Uhuru! Right on there. This right here is called Rise and Grind. We rise up, you keep on rising up, you heard? Listen, I'll bring the fire, I'll bring the fire. I'm keeping truth and I'm not gonna lie. That's so survival, that's star fire. Stay tapping in, people see the hype. I'm a secretary inside, heat up fire. The hot head, but no race to watch. Delivery come in like a fire. Rap girl style, I'm that in top. My own boss, my own sauce. Been putting the work, ain't no boss. Been hitting picture like I see my boss. Been a hot damn plotting, that's my third eye. Play if I boss, don't get shot, cut out the watch like a lightning bolt. And I post, give you my message on my post. This thing, what the fuck I draw close. Reincarnated, then start off slow. Put myself like to the mansion, like studio, and lot of attraction. Like speak to the distance, like the game on magician. Got them doctrine the mission. Like what they get misconnection. Get secrets, no they can touch me. But I need to know they were trying to distract me because I'm winning. Feel my mindset, post up again. I stay in and me, trying to shut me, yeah. But I stay swinging. I'm still breathing, aka I'm still living. Like the tribe of Judah, bell ringing. I ain't rap my senses. Y'all let you like you no one is sleeping. Some people think I'm crazy, but they just sleeping. How you know how the world works? You know part of the world, part of the plots, in the sphere. They just trying to change a life to new normal. That's not normal. That's just normal. That's just awful. They're awful, but me, I'm eternal. Devil trying to break me because I'm on my journey. Spiritual word eternal, like a fernal. Whole self, whole brain like a kernel. Keep my head up. No, I'm the I man, I am I saying KDT, that's my brain, because we train fire, I'll train fire. I'm keeping truth and I'm not gonna lie. That's all about it, that's star fire, stay tapping in, you see the hype. I'm a secretary inside, you the fire, be hot head, but no face watch. Delivery come in like a fire rap, your style, I'm that top. My own, boss my own, sauce been from the work, ain't no boss my own, sauce been from the work, ain't no boss my own, sauce been from the work, ain't no boss been taking pictures like a small boss been hot, not like a shot. My third eye, if I pass, don't get shot, couple of watts. Go them touchdown like in the dots. And these should be stuck like a knot. Had to get away from that silly knot. I used to take a lot of bad shots. Learn my lesson now, I'm shooting better shots. Unstoppable and of course unbreakable because I'm my own CEO. I call up shots. I'll bring the fire. I'm keeping truth and I'm not a lie. That's so surviving. That's star fire. Stay tapping it. People see the hype. I'm a secretary. Yes, I hit a fire. We hot hit, but no braces. Why? Delivery come in like a fire rap hill style. I'm that in touch. My own boss, my own sauce. Been when work they know that's my own boss, my own sauce. When work they know that's my own boss, my own sauce. When work they know that's been hitting bitches like a smoke. In the hot, not like that. Mother, don't get shot. Couple of the watts. Hey, don't get shot. Couple of the watts. Hey, when I say Uhuru, y'all say Uhuru. Give a round of applause for yourself for doing that. Give a round of applause for everybody for everything to give around here. Give a round of applause for everybody to come together around here. And honestly, this is the dream come true. This is what I love. This is what I see. This is what I represent too. So, there we go. So this song right here. Now that we're starting to get an invitation. Right? There's something inside of us. We shine. And you don't like it the way we shine. But guess what? It ain't shine. This song is called Blow. See my platform. I'm really gonna do it. So much I'm really gonna do it. You want this? I'm not really saying. Go away, then you already know. After my hard work, no, you do well, no. After my hard work, no, you do well, no. And my pretty is I just gotta do it. So much I'm really gonna do it. I'm not really saying. Go away, then you already know. After my hard work, no, you do well, no. After my hard work, no, you do well, no. I bring it in, not bring it in. All I do is happy. See my heart is happy. break it down right now. Oh my, gonna say someone longer drought. I'm ready to go with the going back down. Staring at it to myself, I won't back down. No face in the clouds. My heart be telling me because they know I'm around. I am giving enemies who are jealous of me get wrong. Round the pound, man with the plain poetry motion. I gotta make a move. No diamonds or lotion. Basically, we gotta get smooth. Hey, my facility, I just gotta do it to show my talent. I'm really influenced. You watch it down, not really stupid. Go with it, you already know. After my hard work, my future will glow. After my hard work, my future will glow. And my confidence, I just gotta do it. Show my talent. I'm really influenced. You watch it down, not really stupid. Go with it, you already know. After my hard work, my future will glow. After my hard work, my future will glow. Hey, hey. Hey, I say, after my hard work, my future will glow. After my hard work, my future will glow. When I say oh, y'all say oh, 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 oh. Am I saying that right? Okay, say again. Oh, oh. Yeah, I love it. I love it so far. Give yourself a round of applause for the game. Man, it's been fun. I was nervous at first, but it's been fun. Anyway, thank y'all so much. If y'all wanna follow me, it's Keydre_the truth on Instagram and link in the bio. It has all my website. I just made a new website about myself, about my story, where I come from. Obviously, born and raised in St. Petersburg, Florida. This home right here. And I remember I was just a little kid standing right over there with my dad. And I just kind of like, there was something about this building. I didn't really like know the story until like years later on. So man, it's good to be back here. And it's good to perform. Thank y'all so much. Love and peace about the city.
He can talk to you, remember he was a little kid. You look like you're 16 right now. How old are you, brother?
That's like 23.
Oh, okay. He's talking when you're a little kid. Hey, y'all put your hands together for Keydre_the truth, y'all. Hey, that song, that was your groove right there. That's your favorite joint. When I saw you get down on it. Yeah, y'all put your hands together. You see y'all support this brother, check out all his apps. You know, get the website up and all that. I have one quick announcement I want to make. One of our comrades, Haley, just celebrated a birthday. Haley, where you at? They tell me that you somewhere by the whole planet. Yeah. Right over there, y'all might be able to find it at the whole. Here she is. Happy birthday. I would sing back here. But happy birthday. She's over by the, what booth is that? The hands over money, drop the charges, booth that are water and sustenance and stuff. Stop by and say hello, happy birthday, and give her good greetings. Doctor, what you got to say?
Well, since we on birthday greetings, my baby girl in college turned 14 today, so she's celebrating her birthday with us. And as soon as she heard somebody else's birthday, she jetted over there. And I think she knew I was going to say happy birthday to her. So happy birthday to all the birthday folks today. All right. One more reminder, go to the booth to sign up for the bus that's taking folks to the trial every day. Very, very important. Meet us here 4 p.m. tomorrow for our Sunday rally where you can get more information about what to expect at court. You can also sign up for the bus by going to https://tinyurl.com/Uhuru free bus. Okay, if you didn't get that, then go on over to the tent right there. You can sign up for the bus right at the tent. All right.
All right, now it's time for you, ladies and gentlemen, to come to the stage. We're gonna clap for you like you've been clapping for us and everybody who stepped to the mic already. If you got something to say, come on, give us a good 60 seconds of something. Go ahead, line up to right here. Looks like this young lady started off, so we're gonna line up right here. Let's do it if you want to say something. This is your time to free speak what you want to say about the Uhuru 3, this entire rally and this entire incredible experience that we're gonna bring to the face of the government come September 3rd. Uhuru. What's your name, sister? And ladies and gentlemen, clap it up for Felicity.
All right.
Hello, everyone. Much love to the Uhuru building. I actually helped my friend Leonard Waller build it saved. So much love to Leonard Waller. Her brother. I'm from St. Pete. I'm 41 years old. I remember this place when I was a little kid. That was Jack's Crowd across the street, Harris down the street, Red Snack Shack. So therefore, yes, much love to St. Pete and much love free to your Uhuru brother.
All right, don't run and trip and fall over each other. Nobody has anything to say. The time to be shy. This is the time to do what you do, say what you want to say. If not, oh yeah, okay, here we go. Oh, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Y'all looking at Africa at its best right now. Africa, y'all should start clapping. I know y'all taking time to clapping already. My man, like, you don't have no claps left. We don't have medical advice, so don't worry about it. Sister Minnie, come on up here and say something.
Hello, everyone. I used to work at the club, and Uhuru is my friend. And I heard, we have heard Reverend, we have heard the chairman say many times that we need to get together in unity, and unity is power, and that is very important. But I'm here to tell you that you are completely in unity, and this has manifest. That means you have moved to another realm, and your language needs to change. As of right now, today, and forevermore, your statement needs to be, we have won because you have won. That is what you want to put in the universe, not we are going to win. Those two statements have two different meanings. You no longer need we are going to win. You need to put it in the universe, we have won. And you need to put that so strong when you walk in that courthouse on the 3rd. It will have already hit the courtroom and confused everybody in there. And they're gonna have to come for you. I learned something. I am a believer. But I am a believer that has always stood up for right. And I learned something in that. That was what you call law and dominion, but everything on this earth. I don't have to fast prayer for days. I don't have to pray. All I have to do is give all this situation to God. He never documented anything that's documented at that code. He did not document it. All I got to do is give it to God and speak the blood of Jesus on it. Instead of saying, God, do, he also about his laws of the wind. And he tells you, I can't, but you can. Go ahead.
Oh, we're gonna pop it up for Sister Minnie. Come on, Q, it's up to you. Let us know what's on your mind. Talk to us a little bit about freedom time. A little, Q.
Thanks. I'm in Q. I've been in like a lot of the webinars, and then first time to attend one of the rounds, and then yeah, this has been just such an incredible experience, and just so like energizing and galvanizing. And all right, I forgot to say that I'm also an Impedum member. I've got a red, black, and green fanny pack. So if you want to get your own, it's on impedum.org. Yeah. All right. Ooh.
Uhuru, thank you so much, Q. Next, we got my man Caleb Malvin. All right, y'all clap it up for Caleb. Go ahead, Caleb, tell them what's on your mind.
I don't want to say too much. I spoke earlier, but I just want to tell you that Tara Reid, the journalist who was sexually assaulted by Joe Biden and is currently living in Russia, wanted me to send her greetings to today's rally and to express her support. And I want to also say that, 2 years ago, I live in Brooklyn, but I was in Chicago, and we were going to have a conference, and we were going to honor Tara Reid at our conference. It was 2 years ago, and I was in Chicago helping prepare for the conference. And then my phone started blowing up because everyone started telling me from around the country about what was happening here in St. Petersburg and in St. Louis. And we heard about what was happening, and we immediately thought we need to do everything we can to support the Uhuru movement. And so we were all over social media raising the case and raising awareness. And we made a phone call, and we decided we were going to dedicate the opening of our conference to the case. And members of the organization drove from St. Louis to Chicago, and we opened our conference honoring the Uhuru movement in the aftermath, in the immediate aftermath of those raids. And Tara Reid was there, and she had not heard about the raids and what had happened, but she heard about it, and she was able to speak with many of her associates and people that she's known through her efforts to expose Joe Biden. And we were able to make some connections. That's something we're very, very proud of. We have from the beginning seen how dangerous this case is. And I have yelled at many people that I know that are anti-imperialists, many people that are claiming to be anti-war, claiming to be against the FBI, about how dangerous this case really is. And we have seen one of our roles as an organization of just highlighting the importance of this case, because there are many people who just don't seem to grasp how serious this case is. The attitude of the anti-imperialist movement, the attitude of the anti-war movement and the labor movement was an injury to one is an injury to all. And if they come for one of us, they have to deal with all of us. And that is the attitude of solidarity that we've been trying to bring from the beginning about this case. And so I want to urge people to go to their networks and demand people take a stand around this case, explain to them why it's so important, and don't let the issue go. Don't let them drop it. Don't let them just put out one statement, okay, we support them, and then move on and do something else. Explain to them how all of our rights are on trial here today. That's what I want to make clear. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you so much, Caleb. Thank you. Now, the last speaker for this open mic presentation session, closing it out, I'm sure, in stellar fashion, my comrade, Brandon. Y'all put your hands together for Brandon, y'all.
My name's Brenton. I'm a member of the Uhuru Solidarity Movement and the African People's Solidarity Committee. I want to start off, obviously, saluting my leadership, Chairman Amali Yeshitela, as well as the rest of the Uhuru 3, Chairwoman Penny Hess and Chair Jesse. And I just want to say, I owe Chairman, a lot of people here, I came to political consciousness thanks to this organization. And I know everyone here knows that we have won, but I look forward to seeing and being there and seeing the prosecutors and the FBI and the whole colonial system realize that we have won. So I'm here.
I really want to appreciate everybody who stepped up and shared those brief thoughts. It's important that we hear from people who love freedom, justice, love the struggle of African people, especially at this moment, the struggle of the Uhuru 3. So thank you so much for coming up and sharing with us. And at this point, we got a little more culture for you. Told his brother he must be the real deal because they got him closing out the show with the culture. He's a hip hop artist, Michael Moultrie, a hip hop artist from Tampa, Florida. I told the young brother, this is my city. He said it's his city. So we've gone back and forth. I said it was my city before it was your city. Anyway, we all get ready to hear my man Michael Moultrie. His music reflects what he goes through at times on his journey, that we all call life. Put your hands together. Give a big Uhuru welcome to Michael Moultrie.
What's good with y'all, man? Y'all look good. Shout out to everybody out here. Thank y'all for having me. Mike Moultrie, man, on all platforms from Tampa, Florida, man. I thank y'all for having me. We've been running. It's all real music, come from my heart, you know what I'm saying? It's like my journey. Sometimes you ain't got nobody to talk to sometimes, so you talk to the pen sometimes. You can play it.
Mike Moultrie, man. Hey. All real music.
It's all real music, you know what I'm saying?
Tampa, Florida, Mike Moultrie, MOULTRY, on all platforms. Hey. Say like this, really, so everything that you know me, because it seems like I don't gonna break your heart, because they dealing with trust issues and people in the country, because they really can't, and it's only on that meaning is not real. That's what they do, because they actually just was real. It's crazy how you planted that seed when I was here, growing up, looking at life like this, it's real. I sit alone and just think I think I'm so backwards, I don't think I'm little movies. They know back when you're popping and how you really wanted it to work, but they said it was lacking, how it was so hard to move on, but you had to make it happen. The people make them mad, even when they know it's wrong. That's why I couldn't say that they don't feel like you care. They hide on my face for so long, I felt all of the but I keep a smile on my face because they don't be like, things go on and on. Never give up and keep head on the swivel, maintain, do it on this like king, but it stay strong, do it on this like king, but live and things go. And never give up and keep the head on the swivel, maintain, do it on this like king, but live stay strong, do it on this like king, but live and you know, it's about they let down, it's bad. I'm taking that, so they say, I will have that. You gotta push yourself, but they'll try to hold you can go bad. You can't, so you can't. And so much drama that I really had to fall back. I was listening to yourself, people to pretend that they had their back. No, yes, I'm speaking straight back. I stay raising yourself and press on that. I wonder where time goes. The time it's been past. It's been over a decade since my grandma passed, but I still need to put that in me that I cannot stop. I'm thinking about all the lives of the change that I fought. Go on and on. Never give up and keep your head on the swivel. Maintain, do it all this like a thing with a living. Stay strong, do it all this like a thing with a living. And things go. And never give up. I'll be instead on the swivel. Anything go it all, like grand thing for the living. Stay strong, go it all, just like grand thing for the living. Man, that was the first one, you know what I'm saying? How y'all feeling? How y'all feeling, man? It's all real easy, you know? It's crazy, you know what I'm saying? It's hard coming up here, you know what I'm saying? Speaking, you know what I'm saying, what you write about, you know? But you can go to the next one. This one right here, you know what I'm saying? It's about 7 years gone, you know. Sometimes you think about what I'm saying, you get to a certain point in your life, you think about like wanting a second chance, you feel me? So I came up with this right here. Hey. I had a man when I got caught, they did my head. Hey, follow me, my man. I put my crowd to the side when I was feeling the kid. I had a man when I got caught, they did my bed. I always kept it 100. Never put no shady things on my head. I kept it 100. And they solid because I can't count with a couple figures in fact that you could because I get one of Charlie's one raising a project. Get my person, get with I train a wild one and tell back down got a water of a life. See out on almost another comes about it. That was so my soul pillow. I used to pray for love every time I found it and come. Had a baby by the one I'm in love with. You gotta make that it from a tender to low, but you get the big. I stay away because it hurt with a seal tape, but every time anything I will hear them self daddy. I put my little bit that I got when I was turn yourself in on the leave on the site for the shoulder, and I'm gonna look out for the ones who look they have for me, the same ones who call me. I'm gonna check on me. It's a second chance to live my life on a little. But it hurts so much to play strong. But it hurts more than why I feel all that other second. But live my life all over. But it hurts so much to stay strong. With a hurt more than why I feel better with time. I feel like I'm still the egg in my inside. The for the win of both like the lady out there dealing with depression and I'm not they think about my dog and how we like it like who would have on the drunk driver like make don't think the hands on my cousin he said sorry it was an accident but still it was too late and even at a young age from another school shooting that could be fine don't be telling me you understand that you didn't tell me it hurts more than you I wish I knew back then what I knew now. I would have listened to my grandma and stuff on that while and not put my head in a book, in my mind with knowledge, save up everything that I can to put myself on in college. But now, time is a second chance. I live my life to a believer. But it hurts so much because they try. I would have heard to a little lie and they're wrong. Time is a second chance. We live my life all over again. When it hurts so much on stage, I better hurt more than my family was all. Hey, I appreciate y'all for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Hey, y'all, put your hands together for Mr. Mike Moultrie. At this point in time, we come close to the impact program. And I didn't say it earlier because I didn't want to talk too long. But I just have to say, I it gives me great pleasure to introduce my leadership. I remember in the early 2000s, I heard Chairman Mother Estrella say, imperialism, white power is the enemy, was the enemy when it first came to Africa, snatched up the first African protestant against that will, is the enemy today. And I didn't know I would actually meet the man who said it. And when I met him, my life transformed. I became a Yishitellist. I don't mind saying that, when you hear me, you ask me how I'm doing, I say stuff like splendid, because I just want to be like this guy because he's worthy of emulation. Snatched down the mural, stood up in the face of a vicious attack after the Tyron Lewis murder. This chairman right here ran for mayor, won all the black votes, made the chief of police do what he wanted them to do, named the gym after Tyron Lewis, made us get healthy, led the creation of all kinds of economic institutions right here for African people, taught white people how to follow African people for the first time in history. This brother right here, for the first time since Marxist connected the entire African world through the African Socialist International. This is Chairman Omali Satella. And when they came to his house in June of 2022, and they told him to get on the ground, he said, we ain't getting on the ground. Matter of fact, his response is now one step back. In other words, we don't dance to your tune. We ain't moonwalking motherfuckers. We marching forward. Y'all put your hands together. We're Chairman Omali Satella.
Well, comrades, I just want to express my profound appreciation for all of you who have come out on today. And I think that you've seen enough already to know that we are rooted in the community and that we have a history, a real history. You heard people express that. You heard somebody when I was 16, my daddy brought me here, and people saying that this is the place where they came to get solutions. So we are rooted. You heard Uhuru babies, children, they're red, black, and green diaper babies, right? Who grew up in the movement. Their fathers were in the movement. And this is the struggle that we've been in forever. It's a struggle that we've had to be in. It's imposed on us. And I just wanted to acknowledge that. And I also want to acknowledge again, Comrade Efia Mwangaza from SNCC. I'm obligated to do that because I really am, because I am a part of the development of SNCC. I've gone where SNCC said we should on that. And so people should look for the books by Ward Churchill. And there's his wife, Natsu, who is an extraordinary lawyer with international law, but not just international law. She deals with anti-colonial international law. And so she's a they cite her in the works that she's done over a period of time. So I wanted to acknowledge them. And of course, who can move forward without saying something about Comrade Charles Barron? You know, I mean that. Charles Barron has provided for us a concrete example. Legislation. Charles Barron is one who brought Robert Mugabe to New York City Hall at the time that Zimbabwe came under sanctions because it took that land from those white thieves in what was then Rhodesia and Zimbabwe. So I wanted to acknowledge that because he is somebody I think that we need to force these Negro politicians who are always telling us what they can't do. We need to say, this is an example of what you can do and what you should do. And he was the primary advisor for us when we ran, when we ran for office in 2017 and 2019, I let them know because they said the Russians did it, but it was Barron who said, door to door wins the war. which is really SNCC style. Door to door, organizing the people on the ground. And it's important to say that because we engaged in the summer project of Freedom Summer here in St. Petersburg, Florida. It takes its name and its spirit from Freedom Summer in Mississippi in 1964, where people descended in Mississippi on a SNCC-based project with the objective of taking on that particular state because it was recognized as such horrors that it was imposing on African people on a daily basis, violence, terror, and not even being able to vote. So SNCC brought people in because the news cycle that had passed, where people be paying attention to the Black struggle, and SNCC brought them in and had white students from all over come into Mississippi because we knew if those white students came there, the media was going to follow them in there. And sure enough, on the first day of Freedom Summer in Mississippi, this is the moment that thrust Fannie Lou Hamer into on the public radar for people who were not in the movement. And so on the first day, the very first day of Freedom Summer in Mississippi, 3 persons disappeared. James Chaney, who was an African, Michael Schwerner, who was white, and Andrew Goodman, who was also white. And they had been killed right there. And I think that there's some symbolic significance because they killed Schwerner and Goodman because they had the audacity to unite with the struggle of African people in Mississippi. They wanted to use them as examples, and they killed them. And then I think it's worth mentioning. In this instance, we're talking about during Freedom Summer with 3 people being under assault, 2 white, Jesse Neville and Penny Hess, to be those examples to white people that this is what you should do, what you should be doing, and of course me. So Freedom Summer was really significant. And I want to say this because there are people who come to certain kinds of conclusions about what it takes to make a revolution. But Freedom Summer, 1964, that was the basis of the passage of the Civil Rights Act. Out of that, this is a SNCC project. Freedom Summer 1964 was the basis of the struggle that it involved, that it developed everywhere, was the basis for the 1965 Voting Rights Act. Freedom Summer 1964 ultimately gave rise to the 1966 demand slogan of Black Power. This is a consequence of that, particular movement, that particular event, where people from everywhere came in and organized on the ground, so that people had real friends, as opposed to that stuff that you get on the computers. So people had real relationships beyond a computer screen, and where you had to organize in the communities. You talk to people, you know people, et cetera, et cetera. This is what we've done, and this is what this Freedom Summit is about too. So every day we're going out. You've seen some of the stuff that people have been posting on throughout the African community here. This is work that's come from Freedom Summit, with people who come in here from California, coming here from DC, coming here from Missouri, and what have you, who've been putting up stuff on a regular basis, building the Sunday meetings that we were having every Sunday. This Freedom Summit is going to last for the duration of this period, including the end of the trial, that they say is going to last for a month. So we'll be doing every day. Every day we'll be trying to organize and educate, provide political education, having forums, telling people, educating people around Palestine, telling people, educating people the relationship to the Palestinian struggle, the struggle of the indigenous people to the struggle that we have right here in this community. I want to say that I am ecstatic about being able to acknowledge the presence of our comrades from Union de Barrio. I say this, a 40-year relationship that has existed between Africans and Mexicans as a consequence of this relationship that we've developed. With the leading elements of African community, the leading elements of the Mexican National Liberation Movement came together and established this relationship that's been developing ever since. So I just wanted to acknowledge that. And also, did I say anything about the Center for Political Innovation? I want to, because these comrades were some of the first out of the gate. When this attack happened, they were first out of the gate. They didn't ask any questions or anything like that. They were the first out of the gate, and not only in words. They began to take actions everywhere they were located. We can see the actions they were involved in, defending the Uhuru 3 and opposed to what the FBI was doing to us, trying to do to us. And they understood the relationship that it had to the whole question of free speech for everybody. And when I talk about first out of the gate, I cannot not speak about the question of December 12th, who we've had a relationship with since the 1960s. Comrade, I was talking to a comrade a moment ago, because when we built in Brooklyn, New York, the first tribunal on reparations for African people, the first world tribunal where we use international law, including the Genocide Convention. This is so wild because they charged us with being under the leadership of the Russians around genocide. And Comrade John had a splendid response to that. He said the guy who, the Russian we're supposed to be working for, was only 7 years old when we had that convention, so they've done some time trial, in Russia to be able to make that, that claim. But I just wanted to say that the CPI, John, December 12th, who we worked with and began to work with, I knew one of the leaders of December 12th going back to the 60s. And then, in fact, not only did I know her going back to the 60s, she worked for the Episcopal Church that came out of the struggle that was made for reparations and forced the churches to turn over resources so we can use for economic development. And her name was Viola Plummer. And she was a dear comrade. And she provided some of the resources for the first economic development project that we put together on 16th Street South, Ujima restaurant. I was the dishwasher, the pot washer there. I couldn't do anything else well. So I was the pot washer. And I just wanted to say, December 12th came out of the gate, held a magnificent press conference, pulled together all kinds of progressive and revolutionary forces in New York, and they came out in opposition to what has been happening, to this attack that was made on us. And there's so many people, have long-term relationships with. And I just want to express your appreciation, my appreciation for your continuing to be here. And they include Comrade Redbeard right here. He was Redbeard then. But the first gym that we had, which was right here at the Uhuru House, Redbeard was a truck driver. And he brought the first equipment that I had been storing under my porch for years in Oakland, California. We loaded it up and he put it on his truck. And he brought it in, except that he was stopped because he was 10,000 pounds overweight with all of the weights and things that we brought. So, but Redbeard is just one of the comrades. And, I see others here, and I shouldn't have started this shit or naming people. I see others here. I'm glad to see Assange group in this process. I think that's really, really, really important for the Assange forces to be here. I think we're making a powerful statement collectively about that we know what this thing is all about. And I do hope our intention is to build a genuine anti-colonial human rights movement that will allow us to come together and then fight wherever we fight with access to resources, solidarity automatically. Like the first time we got involved with the struggle of people in Nicaragua, we didn't know Nicaragua. But when that struggle heated up, we held in San Francisco the first mass meeting, the first mass event around the struggle of Nicaraguan people that happened in California. And we did it because we understood there's a part of the struggle against colonialism. And if they win, we win. And that's something that we have to come to understand collectively. And so I know that there are all kinds of differences in terms of political, tactical, and things like that. But I'm saying there's enough room in here because the greater divide is not between us, it's between us and them. You understand? That's the great divide that we have to take on. So I really, really want to just express my appreciation to everybody here. And I'm going to be kicking myself for a while starting this naming thing because there's so many people who I did not name and so many organizations and what have you that I did not name. But I just, again, want to express my deep appreciation of the Partisan Defense League Committee League, is it? Yeah. For being here and doing this kind of work for years and years and years and years. So I wanted to acknowledge you. And I just think that, we might as well just go ahead and win. Yeah, might as well just go ahead and win, So hoping that people will be able to come to the mass meeting that's going to be happening on Sunday here at the Uhuru House inside, where the weather is a bit different. So the Uhuru 3, Jesse Devil, the incredible Penny Hess. I say that without reservation, without hesitation, the incredible Penny Hess, who is one of the most principled persons I've ever met, and who came into this movement in 1976. She's been here for a while, you know what I'm saying, and a true veteran of the movement. And all of the forces who came in from the Uhuru Solidarity Movement, Jesse Neville, who's been building the Uhuru Solidarity Movement at a blistering pace. We have organizers in 130 some odd cities, white people in 130 some odd cities doing reparation work, exposing the genocide against African people, and exposing the contradictions, the colonial contradictions in 130 some odd cities. That's all right. Imam left from the New York Young Lords, and I'm glad to see that because the Young Lords were really important presence in New York City. I met them a long time ago. The first time I went to a meeting called by the Young Lords, they were occupying a clinic. And I don't remember if it was Manhattan or not, but they had this meeting and they expected 50 people and something like 10,000 people showed up. And this was the real significant beginning of building the Puerto Rican national liberation movement on this front. And I was happy to be a part of that. Dr. Aisha Fields, who leads our work organizing people with skills and things like that to come back to work for Africa and work for African people, recognizing that those skills are not theirs. They belong to the people. The suffering of African people that made it even possible for them to get into those doors to achieve what they call education. Benjamin Prado, Francisco Romero, Melinda Parker Brown. Y'all met that sister, you know. Yeah, she's an incredible force in New Orleans. I mean, she made them change the Constitution in New Orleans because in New Orleans and in Louisiana, it was possible for a person to go to trial and be convicted with 10 people instead of the unanimous 12 person. And that was a change because initially it was 7 people. And they had to change it because the language, the stuff that in the record was the fact that they intended it like that so they could always convict Black people. So it's 7 person out of 12, say conviction, that's it. And then as a consequence of some of the hard work done by Belinda Parker Brown and her crew, they changed it to 10. They changed it first to 10, and now the Constitution has been changed to require unanimous verdict. But they have something like 8,000 to 12,000 Black people still in prison based on the old law. They didn't turn the people loose. They left them still in prison despite the fact they characterized as unconstitutional what they did to them. And I mentioned Frank and Assange. And this is a good convergence of forces. The Assange group, they did a lot of work throughout the world. And Betty Davis, y'all met Sister Betty Davis, who does work around community control of education. We heard from Cornel West, Charles Barron, as we mentioned earlier, Jesse Neville, Mukasa Ricks was supposed to be here but couldn't make it. Omowale Clay, December 12th movement. And when people watched Omowale Clay at that demonstration was held in front of the New York Times, challenging the fact that the New York Times would refuse to even mention anything about this case. And they saw Omowale Clay and said, get him here. I said, but he said he can only come for the trial. Get in here. So there's something Omowale Clay. Lisa Davis, you heard from, who is the vice chair of the Black is Black Coalition, is the person who organized the thing at the New York Times. I mentioned Afia Mongaza. There are people from the Electoral Ad Hoc Committee. I'm happy that Comrade Ward could speak for that. I'm happy that the representative for the American Indian Movement was here, Paul Pumphrey, who is one of the co-founders of the head of the Friends of the Congo. I was really impressed with his presentation because it goes to what this attack on us is all about. They continue to steal and rape Africa of its resources, and I'm one of those resources they stole from Africa, and I think that should be something that we want to make perfectly clear. Jill Stein, who from the beginning has been working with this. In fact, she came to St. Louis and actually went to jail in St. Louis after participating in an event that supported the Hands Off Uhuru. And then Kayla and John, Center for Political Innovation. Yeah, I saw Kayla in this video. Come back, Kayla. And he was on a platform, Vladimir Putin, President Putin was on the stage. And Caleb was in the audience, and he raised his hand and was recognized. And, you know, he said that what was happening with the Uhuru 3 and that they were using the Russia kind of thing as the basis for that. And he put it, you know, before them. And I thought that was really powerful and really great. Yeah. And Joe Baker, Freedom Rural Socialist Organization, they've been with us, and they've gone through a similar situation where a number of them were arrested under similar circumstances and charges, and they refused to testify before the grand jury, and they were threatened for a long period of time with jailing, and it did not happen ultimately. But it's good to have his comments here. And Jonathan Piper, as Partisan Defense Committee, it was good to hear from Margaret Kimberly. And Joseph Nohava, Tampa Alliance Against Racism and Political Repression, and Deidre Ortiz from the Troika Collective. So I just wanted to express appreciation for all of you. To my wonderful granddaughter, who sort of was the primary MC here. To comment Life Malcolm, where's Life Malcolm? To comment Life Malcolm, who, by the way, is a lawyer, and he was Comrade Akile's lawyer when this trial first began. And so I think he probably said something to his efficacy that Comrade Akile is not one of those on trial right now, not directly anyway. So Life Malcolm, I want to recognize you, comrades. Life used to travel with me in various places around the country a while ago. So I just wanted to express appreciation, and hopefully people can be here on tomorrow. And then for those who can, even to do the work that we in the streets and organizing in various ways every day. So for those who can, we would really appreciate it. Also, where's this comrade? Your comrade Mandisi, who came all the way from, was that Boston? Yeah. Boston. You know, this comrade has been on post for a long period of time, and being on post, Bakri Olatunzi, he came in from Oaktown, California, and then moved to St. Louis to participate in the work, and has been on the ground here every day, working on the ground, etc. So I just wanted to thank, Don. Comrade Don from is it San Diego, Los Angeles? Orange County. Orange County, all right, in California. So I just want to appreciate everybody's presence here. I know there's this comrade here who works on our website, and I'm afraid I don't know your name. Say it again. Joseph works on the website. Yeah, right on. And there's comrade Yaya, who's been in the movement. We're talking about a lot of people been around for a long time in this movement, and that's our stability.
Robert came from St. Louis.
Oh, where the comrades from the Louis?
And also, Kota.
Yes, Kota. Comrade Kota, it's good to see you. Yes, yes. But where is the comrade Mark Anderson? Yes, Mark Anderson, who's been here forever. He was with us in Oxford when I spoke in Oxford in 2019. Lauren, yes, Lauren is USM Green Party, and
Janet and Peter from Seattle.
Janet and Peter from Seattle.
Amanda and SG Mwezi.
Amanda and SG Mwezi. We say SG Mwezi, that's the secretary. She's Secretary General of the African People's Socialist Party. Yeah, yeah. Where is she? She's inside. Yeah. MQ. Where's MQ? Everybody knows MQ. Where's MQ? What's funny, they said that that we became hired by Russia. They said over something like, was it a 6-year period, that Russia gave us $7,000. I think MQ is doing more than by himself. You know, I mean, it's
Denzel.
Tomway, there's my man in Tomway. Yeah, Tomway has been here forever. That's also Comrade Akile's daddy.
Yeah.
And that's my son. And and that's your second cousin? We do that in the African community. So
And Denzel John from San Diego.
where's Denzel?
Right there.
Where?
Right there.
Oh, from San Diego. And the baddest, the best line DJ in the world. DJ Eddie, who say I can't see nothing, but I feel everything. And now he's feeling on somebody. Justin, where are you, Justin? Yeah, there he is. Yeah, Uhuru, Justin. I didn't recognize you. I didn't see you doing no work. Okay, all right, Comrade Justin. So there's so many people here, and so many people do incredible work. You know, comrades from the Louvre, St. Louis. It's Comrade Wendy, you know, who's been here forever, who allowed her husband to spend months away for part of the renovation that we did inside this building, et cetera. And I gave him hell. Yeah.
It says Janine and Wendy Craig.
Oh, well, Wendy Craig, and Janine, is Janine here?
Yeah.
Where?
Because she had an accident.
Yeah. Where's there she is.
Wendy Snyder's here.
Wendy Snyder, yes, Wendy Snyder, yes, she's here. That's what she's the one who's on there to her husband. And so let me know who else I missed. Where's Troy? Ruby, the Red. Yeah, Ruby the Red. I call her that. She's been an extraordinary force. I mean, in Oakland, California, where we initiated a land reform movement. And at one time we had seized.
Yes, Ona said Marine Jamison and
Marine Janice and Yendo. And Yendo is one of the founding members of the African People's Socialist Party. He's from down in Fort Myers. And Janice, where's Janice? Where? Yeah, this is Janice Camp. We call her Janice Camp. And I've known Janice since she was a 19-year-old Puerto Rican. Who else did I hear about? That's what she worked here. We brought her here, and she worked in the community here at a printing thing that we had established. And so the Africans would come in and they would see her. They knew she couldn't have been a white person. So they invented an identity for her. So she became a Puerto Rican. So
Ona said, don't forget Peg.
where's Peg? Come in, Peg's not here.
Inside.
I'm bouncing. I'm bouncing. I just want. Oh, where's the King Gate? Oh, all right, yeah, come out of King Gate. And she's always so damn close to me that I sometimes don't see her. And I'm just, so the King Gate, who really, most people who've been in touch with us during this process have gone through a King Gate. She's been the person who's been the anchor in this situation. So, oh, Bob.
Bob the Berry.
Oh, yes, Bob from the Green Party of St. Louis and what have you. Just incredible work. He goes occasionally to Palestine. He, I think, has dual citizenship. He may have Israeli citizenship and what have you, but he works in the West Bank. I don't know if he's done any work in Gaza or not, but he's been a real soldier, and I wanted to acknowledge him too. And Sandy. And Yaya. Okay, so I got to bounce, yeah. Eric, how did Eric get here? All right, from where?
Oakland.
Oakland, all right, yes. Uhuru, all right, they cut me off.
All right, Chairman. I want to make one quick announcement before we close the program. There's a comrade, Bob Suberi, who's here from St. Louis, who has 6 seats in his vehicle to go back to Tampa. So if you need a ride back to Tampa. You do? You do? All right. So Bob, he might be inside right now, but he said he could take 6 folks back to Tampa. Oh, there he is. There's Bob right there. We got some takers on your offer to take folks to Tampa. Okay, there's Bob right there. All right.
Overall, comrades, sisters, and brothers, really appreciate you being here. And of course, welcome back to the stage. Dear Sister Jennifer, Lumumba, and the Honorable Charles Barry, of course, Dr. Aisha Fields. I think Jennifer's gonna take us home with a chant.
Hands up. And I'm gonna sign on how the chairman like to do it. Carol.
Penny. Uhuru, to everyone that's on the breakdown team, before you start breaking down, please meet over here on the, what is this, the left side of the stage. If you're on the breakdown team, before you start breaking down, Hallie, you want to